This is Just in Case from American Newscape, joining our friend, Rhonda Corey, described by many as a great teacher, lifestyle luminary, comedian, or as to us, simply a comedic genius. Rhonda hails from the tiny little state of Rhode Island. She will be sharing perspectives on clean comedy and the simple power of it all. Hello, Rhonda. Welcome to American Newscape.
Justin, thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you. So, with that being said, could you please share some background information and what drew you into comedy?
Sure. So, I always loved comedy. I've always enjoyed laughing and making people laugh. And so, how my comedy career started was not like any other. I actually started doing comedy in churches. Doesn't everyone? But actually, I was on a women's events team, and that's when I tried my hand at comedy.
Wow, and you had the courage to do it, or were you? Did they laugh at you at school? Did they laugh at you at the dinner table when you were a child?
You know what? Looking back, I would have to say yes. I always was making jokes or just making things funny. Or when I was I think I was in first grade. I was 6 years old, and I sang. I sang a silly song, Trot, 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 and I sang it in like a jazz rendition. So, how many 6-year-olds do that?
Where did the
Yeah.
jazz influence come from? Was that music in the
I don't, well,
family?
my dad was a disc jockey, and he loved jazz, so that could have been it. And when I was 9 years old, I used to do, imitate impressions and things like that. So I used to do Lily Tomlin's Edith Ann when she was on
Oh,
Laugh.
right.
And my father actually was involved in a contest, and so he had Lily Tomlin on. That was one of the celebrities that he had on in this contest, and I actually did my version of Edith Ann back to Lily Tomlin when I was like 9.
Well,
So.
our us graybeards, we grew up Lily Tomlin doing one ringy dingy, two ringy dingies as the
Yeah.
telephone
Mhm.
operator, which was an album which I endured as a child and thought it was great. But
Oh yeah.
that's very cool. Let's give take a moment and let's give the audience a sampling of your stand up. So we're gonna play this and we'll be right back.
So I love children, I really do, except for the little neighborhood kid. Keeps banging on my door. Oh, Mrs. Corey, we're raising funds for a class trip to Disney. I don't think so, Parker. You're homeschooled. So, there's one thing that I found, and I'm going to pass this information on to you. There's certain things that you can say to children that you should never say to adults. Not imagine if you could. Because here you are, right? You're at a family reunion. Oh my goodness, Aunt Becky. Look at you. You have gotten so big since the last time I seen you. You are quite the little chunky monkey. Did you grow out all those clothes you had from last year? Cousin Carl, my goodness, you lost another tooth. That tooth fairy's gotta go out of business. Auntie Susan, you've been cutting your own hair again, haven't you? We need to take those scissors away from you. Uh-oh! I think somebody here had a little accident. Grandma. Uncle Billy. Oh, I can tell you got dressed today all by yourself.
Oh, Oh my goodness. Rhonda Corey coming to a family reunion near you.
Look out.
Oh boy. Was that inspired from a family reunion or did you just kind of develop that?
No, it wasn't. I was just thinking of all, we always say things to children like, oh my goodness, look how big you are. And I just thought that was so funny. Like, you could never say that to somebody, an adult. And so that's where that just derived from. I just was thinking about all the things that you can say to a child, but if you said it to an adult, it would not have the same reaction. So that's where that joke kind of came from.
That's cool. Everybody, I've been very entertained by Rhonda's podcast show, and it's called. She's the host, and I believe the originator and the creator, and the inspiration behind. Talk is cheap, and that's what I heard. Those are the words that were banged off of me as a child as I was growing up. It was talk is cheap, but it's very entertaining. And can you tell us a little bit of background on the show and some of the guests that you've had?
Sure, I'd love to. The show originated because I wasn't able to go out on stages anywhere, and because of the pandemic, and I was just absolutely going crazy. And I just, being a creative, I just needed to do something. I needed an outlet. I knew a lot of my friends were feeling the exact same way, and I just thought of this would be a great way to have a platform where I can spotlight my funny friends. It would give me a reason to, work every week. I started off doing 2 shows a week and having usually 3 guests for each show. So that's six guests a week. So I book all my own guests, and it was great. A lot of the comics and whoever else I had on people that would also give some kind of information, or I would have a musician. So it would be a little bit of a variety show. And so I would have, different people every single time, a guest co-host, a middle person who would, either be a musician or give some kind of sort of information, a dietitian, a beautician, never a mortician. But we try not to have those people on. And so, and another comedian. And then what I do at the end is I pit the 2 guests against each other when we have a game to win a Rhonda Corey comedy hand sanitizer. So it's a lot of fun. I wanted a little bit of variety of everything, and I wanted to spotlight other talent, because if people were just watching me, I don't think they'd stay on that long, to be honest with you. So,
well, I don't know.
Show's about an hour.
It's very therapeutic for me. I mean, it's a beautiful distraction. The laughter is very honest. There's no laugh tracks to it, and it's really well put together. So I think you should be proud of yourself, and I think you should be proud of all those guests and those people coming forward. And we've been blessed with the ability to interview lots and lots of stand-ups. Because they were available, because they weren't out on the road, and that's been a blessing to us. And you can tell that they require that feedback. I mean, that part of you need that interaction from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I assume I assume you're finding it from your friends or your guests or the contest.
Well, and it's just fun to just hang out with, other comics and other creatives. And it's just a blast to be able to do that. I miss my friends. I love doing shows with my friends, and I miss them. And this was a way I could hang out and just share the joy with others. I mean, on Facebook and YouTube, all you saw was a lot of negative stuff. And I wanted to create something that was fun and that you could just escape all of that for an hour, just have fun. And so Yeah, it's been great. I have gone down now this year. I decided to go down to one show a week, and I do that on Tuesdays. So that way I can, that's usually a day that you can still get comics to come in because they're not traveling so much. Usually the travel is midweek to the weekends for the most part. So it was easier, to still get guests to come on.
Well, and when we do our read more, we'll provide direct links to your channel so people can get notifications. I recommend everybody subscribe just for the simple fact that you can pick this show up and you can get that 1 hour distraction, and or you can pick up a show she did 9 months ago. Our fans like to go back to our old shows to see how bad I actually was.
Yeah, the beginning of my show, I get that. The beginning of my show, definitely evolves, right?
Oh, absolutely. What a lot of people don't realize, we have thousands of whistles and bells that we can apply to these shows. I mean, you can have beautiful graphics coming up, fading in, fading out. But I'm a one-man show. I need to focus on my guests. So I've learned to become simpler and simpler and simpler with what we do. And it's like the scrolling information. Well, people didn't come to see my show to read anything. If they want to read something, they should go to the Read More, because we'll give them 4,000 words of everything they may want to know. How to get in touch with you, how to find where you're going to be, how to go to your website. That's what we try and do. And I believe we have a lot of subscribers and people that enjoy our channel because, like myself, they have no idea what may come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I get that so much.
So take me to stand up. What do you love about stand up? And just give me a feel for it.
Oh, I love the process of stand up. I love, getting that idea. Like when I got the idea for, the kids, that joke evolved. You know what I mean? It didn't start off exactly like that, but it evolved. And so, my first idea was, wow, that's funny. You can say that to a child, but if you said that to an adult, oh my gosh. So then, then you start to write it. And then you perform it on stage, and then you come back and you say, well, this worked, this didn't. Like, even since that, I've changed something in that joke. I've changed the order, and I changed, instead of grandma, I say Nana, because I think Nana's funnier.
And it's better received by the crowd.
Yeah. So you learn. So a lot of my jokes are never like really finished,
Right.
Because I might, I'm going to switch this word and see if this works better. So it's constantly evolving, and I enjoy that. And I just love to watch people enjoy themselves. Like, what's better than that? To see someone laugh. There's nothing better than that.
Well, absolutely. And if we've made a few people laugh during the day, that's a testament to our day. And that may be the only testament we get out of it.
It's a great thing to just be able to hear the laughter and just to see that, you helped bring joy into somebody's day, and that's basically, it's because that's the only skill I have, is what I'm saying there, Justin,
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
They're limited. My skills are limited. So, yeah, if I can make people laugh, then I'll do it.
I've always enjoyed making people laugh, and everybody's always said, you should be a stand-up. You should get up in front of a crowd. Well, there's the courage is to do that, but I think the commitment to the art, because stand-up comedy is an art. It is an absolute art, and that's why it takes so many years for everybody to evolve their craft. And I don't think I can do it. I'm sure I could do it, but I don't think I'd be getting any callbacks or encores.
It does. It takes a while. I mean, you try an open mic, and you learn how to write. I think one of the smartest things I did was I took a course, Rick Roberts School of Laughs. I promote him all the time because he's amazing. He's a 30-year plus comic now, and he offers a course, schooloflaughs.com. Rick, R-I-K, Roberts, and I don't get anything from it, by the way, just so you know. But I promote him because I just think he's amazing. And honestly, I owe so much to him for teaching me how to write through his course and through a little bit of coaching.
Well, a little bit of my background. I grew up during the young movement where, if you were a teenager, the world was, it was your oyster. I mean, corporates were coming and throwing money at speech contests and all kinds of things. And I was saddled with speaking to big public engagements. And who in the world would want to come hear what a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old has to say about business? And they didn't. So I made them funny, and that was easy for me. And by the time I actually had a speech class, and the teacher was very, very aggravated with me, and I'd been very successful as a competitive public speaker by the time I even got into that class. And she said, well, next week we're going to do a eulogy, and we'll see how Mr. Case makes it funny. And I went home and I struggled. So what I did was I wrote a eulogy for Jimmy Carter, who happened to be the president at the time. And the class was rolling in the aisle.
That's great.
And that came from my love of Mark Antony's speech, where I come not to praise Caesar, but to bury him. And to me, that was the greatest speech that was probably never given, but it's certainly the greatest speech that was ever written on a piece of paper.
That's awesome.
So there you are. You're up and you're doing stand-up. Did you have one moment? I mean, all artists have that one moment. Do you have one remembrance where you got up and you got off stage and said, "Boy, I really nailed it today"?
Sure. I've had a few of those moments where, it just went well. I've had more of that it hasn't. I'm very critical, to be honest with you. I will be on stage and I almost don't hear the laughs like they really are. I record everything that I do pretty much. And so I have to listen back because sometimes I don't hear what was really said or heard, or
Right.
not said, but I don't hear what, the laughter, the way it was. And so, because I'm very, very critical of myself, my husband will say, "Oh, I don't know if that, went that well." He said, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "No." And then I have to listen back to it because, it did go better, or I listen back to it to see where, the dips are. And so, okay, well, I definitely have to improve on this. And so, it's good to do that. It's not easy to do that. I don't want to hear my own voice. I don't even want to look at myself at all. It's not easy right now because I'm saying lots. Like I know I'm trying to get out of that, and be a little more, be more positive. And it's very easy to kind of be self-deprecating. But
Well, I have that problem too. We'll do these interviews and everybody will say, "Well, how was it? How was it? How was it?" And I'll go sheepishly say, "I think it was good."
yeah,
Or I'll say, "I think it was really good." And then I'll watch it 2 days later. Because as you know, most of our fans will tell us it was wonderful. Whether it was or it wasn't. But I have two people. My wife will look at it and she will give me stern critique, which I deserve, and my sister will too.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
how I will get better. I would love for our fans to get, to point out the mistakes or what might make it better, because that would actually help me. Because when I watch these, I'm too critical of what I'm doing. I'm hearing my breathing. I should have said this. I should have said that. But I would guess when you're in front of a crowd, you're in a zone.
Yes, but it's so funny because, Justin, what happens is a lot of times, I really try to be in the moment. I'm getting better at that, but you have dialogue that's going in here and you have dialogue that's coming out here. So you're watching and you're seeing and you're like, okay, what's my next joke? Or, and things are coming out of your mouth and you go, what did I just say? I've had that happen. I'm like, what? How did I say that word? Oh my gosh, I said the punch like this. That happened to me. Just this weekend, I said the punchline before, or like one of the taglines, I said it first before the setup. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And then, but you have to keep going on because you can't let anybody notice that either. So,
right. Well,
it's funny.
It's just a tribute to Karnak.
To
Karnak the Magnificent, Johnny Carson's bit where he would give the
punchline
and then open
it. I see it. Yeah.
Yes, everybody. The host is old.
We'll have the answer. It'll bring it up. That's a funny bit.
And then I go back so far that as a child I would see Rip Taylor, and in my family. When my mom would get aggravated with me, she would quote Rip Taylor and she would say, "Tell me what language you speak and I'll try and find something in between." And that's what Rip used to yell at his audience when they weren't laughing to suit him. But that was his gag. And he was a remarkable...
And the confetti.
And the confetti. So, there's another project that you have that fascinates me as well. It's a cooperative effort that you are part of, and it's called Take Two Ministries.
Yes, that's how actually I kind of got started. It was in Take Two Ministries. I was feeling really called to do comedy, and a girlfriend of mine was feeling very called to speak, and I think we were too afraid to actually do it by ourselves, to be honest with you. And I think God knew that. So, we were talking about it. I said, I think that's a great combination because she has a really deep story. Her name's Gail Cooper. She's amazing speaker, by the way. And so I would come out and start off with some stand-up comedy, and then she would come in and speak. And, just give them a message of hope. And so it was great for, we did tons and tons of women's events. I think we just booked one just this past weekend for, I don't know, April of next year already, because we're already starting to book again. So, I think it's a fabulous combination to have both the laughter and the hope and the seriousness, It's wonderful. So we are still doing events together, and we're both also doing events, obviously, apart. She's wonderful. I'm very fortunate to, work alongside her.
Well, yeah, and she has a lot of energy, and she is very inspiring, and she is funny as well, despite the power of the message that she's bringing forth.
Mm-hmm. She's very funny, and she has such a faith in God, and has had unbelievable life, with a very difficult marriage in her first 10 years. She ended up losing her son when he was 21 years old. She just had breast cancer. And really, it's unbelievable. Her story just goes on and on. And but she has such incredible hope in God.
Well, that's a testament to her, and the beauty of your partnership and what you can bring to. It's not just for women's groups. You go into churches. You go into churches as well, and.
Oh yeah.
Now, is she a shill in the audience? Does she laugh at all your jokes while you're on stage?
She does. Like I said, I record all my sets, and a lot of times, the camera will be sitting right next to her, and I can hear her laughing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you have heard these jokes a million times, and she still thinks they're funny.
But it doesn't matter because once we love a joke, we love it, and it never becomes old to us.
That's a good thing.
Well, it is, and that's how we do a bond with comedians that we love because they lift us up. You lift us up, you make us smile, and with what everybody's been through, and we, the American Newscape fans, call it the not the pandemic, but the pandemonium of the last period of time. We've needed that, and you comics, you comedians, you talented writers and artists and musicians have done so much for everybody. Because if they don't like, laughing with us, maybe they'll like listening to the acoustic guitar player that's doing a free 2-hour concert online.
Yeah.
And it's the arts have shown, and I don't think the arts have ever shown like this before to our generations. Hopefully they did back in the plague days and things like that, and knowing artists, they probably did.
Artists have to create. It's just in you.
No, they give back. You all give back, and you're all a blessing. Okay, what have we forgotten? What if we go to your website? What can we find there?
You can find some clips on there. You can find all my social media that you can get to, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. There's links right there for that. You can also, there's a little bit of a bio, and there's a way to contact me if you're interested in having me come and put on a show for you. I do shows alone, and I also am putting together shows with other comics, and I think that's so much fun because you get a sampling. You might not relate to my comedy, but you might relate to my friends. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. I like that way. There's a whole, it's like a little comic buffet is what it is. I love to put shows together for, it's clean comedy. So it's for churches, for any kind of conferences, events, anything.
Well, and I believe it's nice to be able to take the kids to that. And this is humor that, kids are a tough audience. They are a tough audience. But they can relate to, what was his name that was homeschooled that was trying to raise money to go to Disney? Was it Maurice? No. Your joke.
Oh, you mean Parker?
Parker. Yeah.
Parker.
I hope Maurice Brown doesn't see this because he'll think I was using his name in vain. But we love Maurice.
I do too. He was just on my show last week.
And I missed it. I can pick it up. I can go see the archives of it.
You know what? There's the replays. The replays are on the Facebook page. The replays are on YouTube, and they're also on Roku on the Creative Network.
Well, we all call him the Space Cowboy, or we call him the Pompous of Love.
Maurice, I know the song.
Yeah, Maurice is very talented. He's very inspiring. He's very matter of fact. He has his own show. He's also a stand-up comic, and he has not his own ministry, but he works with ministries, and he's a remarkable man. And when you watch Maurice's show, my mouth falls open a little bit because he's so talented.
He is.
So, and it's Maurice. When I was going, hey, Maurice, you must have a friend or two that I could interview. And he recommended you right off the bat.
Aww.
And it took weeks because you've been so busy. It took weeks for you to be available to us. And Rhonda, our crowd is going to love you. And the reason they're going to love you is because you have an honest laugh. You have a wonderful smile. And you bring something positive to us.
I just want to make a face. I started getting goofy. I'll just try to behave myself.
And for you dog lovers, she banished Chewy into the other room.
I had you guys, listen to me. Chewy was not behaving at all. Okay, he was not behaving, and I had to. He got the heat. Oh, he's in the other room. He's he's in solitary confinement. Actually, not really. He's actually with my son or my husband or somebody. I don't know who he's with. Not the cat. He's definitely not with the cat.
Somebody that loves him, but when he heard my voice, he felt the need to bark.
He's just being obnoxious. So I'm going to be recording my show tonight. I'll be doing my show this evening, and we don't know. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but I give him. People say I drug my dog. I do not drug my dog. I give him a little something, something. I give him little quiet moments, and just a little something to calm them down. And they need to kick in tonight, is what I'm saying.
Well, he would be a good interview for me as well, because I know he'd be interactive. He
would. Or he'd leave. He could leave. He did that. I don't know. He did that on one of my shows too. Usually he sits right next to me. And ever since, especially since the, the pandemic and everything, he has been like, he thinks I'm his butler now. Because I don't know. He's gotten that idea that I'm his butler and that I work for him. And so he needs to be sitting next to me every moment in case he has a need. And so he sits right next to me during my show, and so I give him something that'll make him a little tired, so he'll sleep during my show. Last week he was like, "I'm not doing that."
We have a cat here that I am a major disappointment to, and the cat has recognized how stupid I am, and that there's no hope for me to do what she requires.
Yeah,
and I'm not getting any better. And she's trying. She will, if I'm outside and I disgust her, she will walk me to the door.
Yeah, well, you don't want to walk anybody in comedy, so...
Yeah, you have to have security walk them to the door.
You don't want to walk anybody. That's not a good thing in comedy. In a comedy show, if you walk someone, that means they left, they didn't like you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's not good.
All right, but I'll let everybody know. I'm going to ask two things of Rhonda. I'm going to ask her to promise to come back when she can find time for us, and we promise to do better. And she has we'll do the show with Chewy in the house.
Yes, Chewy will be.
And I'll remind everybody, all the links to Rhonda, all her social media. Links to her Talk is Cheap show, links to her Take Two Ministries site will be in the Read More. And we're anxious to promote that. And we'll ask Rhonda, do you have any closing thoughts for us?
Sure. You know what? Life can get really tough sometimes. And I think you just need to look for the funny. The funny is everywhere. Even in the devastating moments, there is always a little piece of funny there, and just look for it. I think, God created laughter for a reason. And so he wants us to laugh and enjoy our lives. And so find the funny in your day. It's there.
And if we can't find it, you'll help point it out to us.
Yes. Watch Talk is Cheap. You can, watch a comedy show. just have fun. No, really, comedy's all around you. Trust me, it is.
And it's beautiful medicine, and it can be very therapeutic, and that's why all you comedians, even the ones we don't like, you're blessings to somebody, and you need to get on that stage and keep putting it out there. I'm gonna do some closing remarks, but I want we have Rhonda's demo reel, which is another sampling of what she does in her show, and we'll run that at the end, so I encourage you to stick around. So that being said, this has been Just In Case and Rhonda Corey providing a few perspectives. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links are provided in this video's Read More. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected, and please connect with Rhonda in the links below so you can join us at the American Newscape Cool Kids table.
I found out that there's a lot of things that you can say to children that you can never say to adults. But imagine if you could. Here you are, you're at a family reunion. Oh my goodness, Aunt Mary, look at you. You've gotten so big since the last time I chunky monkey. But I am really trying to get healthy. I joined the gym. Thank you. Hey, did you know for only $10 a month you can say you belong to a gym?
Absolutely surprised at how wonderful this night was. Rhonda was so easy to work with. She did all the work and made it happen. It was very easy for us, just a matter of setting up some microphones and some video stuff that was all prepared ahead of time. But for something that was an hour and 15 minutes, it went by so fast. And so I really encourage you to bring them, and I know that you're going to be blessed.
And my son now is 258 months. And you know what? Sometimes I really, really miss when he was little. So I'll just get barefoot and walk on Legos. And then I'm over it.
Fisher, the owner of the Ice House. Ron, really enjoyed your set. Great job. Great job.
So he told me, you know what, why don't you go ahead and buy one of those kitchen gadgets that make cooking meals easier. Well, I love my new vending machine. His favorite meal is E7. Now, you're all invited to my house for dinner, but just make sure you bring the correct change. Thanks, I'm Rhonda Corey.
Rhonda Corey, keep it going for Rhonda.